Okay, so it is January 4th, 2021, and where are we going?
We are going to our final appointment. So it got canceled in the clip that'll be before this one. It got canceled and moved to today.
Yeah, so how are you feeling?
I feel very at peace. A little bit nervous yesterday, but that was pretty swiftly dispatched. We had a sermon yesterday about Abram, before he was called Abraham, about making a choice out of self-interest, and then suffering for it, and then leaving it up to God and being rewarded for it. And the decisions in question were whether or not to tell the truth about his relationship to Sarai, to Pharaoh. That was the decision he made out of self-interest. And then the submitting himself to God was when he let Lot choose or have first pick over the land that was given to them. So it was just, further confirmation of where we are and what we're doing.
Yeah, and I'll be sure to link the sermon down below because it was really an encouraging one and something we so much needed to hear. And again, heard Florida twice more last night. But yeah, so again, thank you guys, everyone, for all of you who have been praying for us, and we're so blessed to have all of you guys. So anyway, it's 8:51. Our appointment is at 9, so we're on the way, and we will let you know how it goes. Okay.
All right. So, good news, as you can tell by our smiles. So we go into the office. He is a Marine Corps doctor, which, if you know anything about the Marine Corps, they're hard chargers, kind of like, okay, we're gonna do this no matter what kind of attitude. And when I saw all the sort of Marine Corps paraphernalia on the walls, I was like, oh no, this is he's gonna be like, well, why don't you watch Japan? Anyway, so as we were going through the appointment, he was like, okay, I'm gonna do everything I can do to get you guys to Japan. And we're like, no,
Please don't.
so he's like, okay, you're gonna have to follow up with like Brown University, like all sorts of things. And he's like, no, we don't want this. And then he was like, okay, well, it's a good chance that you get denied. And we're like, okay, good. He's like, but I you guys are both young, like, you guys are gonna want Japan. And I was like, can I briefly interject here? And
he was really nice.
He was very nice. Yeah, I interjected and I said, sir, let me tell you a story about this year and our journey through faith. And I gave him, the Cliff Notes version of what this whole video is going to be. And, at the end I said, I don't know what sort of purchase, God's prompting has on you, but my preference is to not go to Japan. And he said, well, you're in luck because I'm a devout Catholic and he's a minister at his local parish. So the story very much hit home for him, and he said that he can write the paperwork right now and send it over to Yokosuka recommending me to stay in the U.S. So exactly as God told us it would happen. I mean, it's really tremendous. Just a tremendous answer to prayer. What are your reactions?
Yeah. In the office, because at first he was like, oh, like, you have these issues, but you'll be fine. Like, we can do this stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, my heart rate was skyrocketing.
Mine too. When they took my vitals at the beginning, they're like, do you have high blood pressure? Like, are you going to have a heart attack? And I was like, yeah.
Yes, I am. Thank you. Yeah. Just like during the appointment, I was just like praying, like, Lord, just please give us peace, give Joe wisdom in case he has to defend his position, like, and right after I prayed that, I just felt so at peace. I don't know if you noticed, like, that's when I stopped like shaking my legs. Like when I cross my legs, I'll like move. I don't know what that's called, but yeah, I get jittery, and I just like stopped it, and like I was okay. And then like a minute or two later, he was like, okay, well, like, I assume that you guys went in Japan, whatever. And then Joe started his thing, and it was just like...
Yeah, and I was praying, as the first inclination that he was like, I'm going to do everything I can to get you guys to Japan. I was like, Lord, please give me an opportunity to tell the story, because like I just knew it would have some purchase on this guy. God gave me the wisdom on that, and as soon as I did, his demeanor changed. He acknowledged the bond between Christians, between us, and and worked in concert with God's will through our prayer, and recommended us to not go to Japan. So the next step is this packet gets sent over to Yokosuka, and they said best case scenario we hear back from them in 2 weeks. So
that's
great.
cool.
More Rhode Island fun and looking at mansions, but he said there's a possibility that an answer as early as Thursday, but they're typically pretty slow. But our doctor, he said that with a surgery and complications, no chance they take us. So we're not worried even in the slightest about that.
Yeah, and I mean, another good reason for you to not have had experience, because it's not like they're looking for a freshly untrained ensign.
Yeah, you see this bar here? It means literally nothing.
It does not.
It means I know literally nothing, and the lack of insignia up here means that as well. But
officer.
Yeah. But anyway, and he said like really the only circumstance that they would demand that I come is if I was the only one who could do that job, and seeing as my qualifications to do the job are a like a 4-week Zoom class, not like
no experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's still just kind of like sinking in. Like how well that went. Like,
yeah,
I mean we've known for so long now.
Yeah, we knew we had the victory. We knew, and the night before last Tuesday, we were praying about it very intensely, laying our hands on the overseas screening packet, and I just had this prompting, just saying, "It is done, it is done," and I was like, "Oh, like okay," and I was like, "Tell Jess," so I did. And like it's scary to even say it out loud when you've gotten a prompting like that. Just to say like, God told me this. I don't want to look stupid if it doesn't happen, but faith requires kind of a lack of shame, if you will, about God. You have to be willing to go out on a limb and trust God, and that's the lesson that's just been beat into us over the past year. Because it's been almost a year to the day of ship selection last year, when I selected Yokosuka.
Yeah, it was what?
January 30th about. It's January 4th, and by the time this is all cycled through, I'll probably be at my next duty station, which will be Mayport, seeing as how well this is going. Probably around exactly a year to the day that I selected Japan. So
isn't that incredible? Very
incredible. God's blessed us, and he never stops, never gives up, never gets impatient with his children, and is never going to give up on perfection.
And works through the details always.
Right.
I like, just as we were sitting in the doctor's office, and I mean, he was nice to me, first of all, which not all doctors in the military are, because like it's like, oh, you're a spouse, like, go wait outside. I've had that treatment before, and it's just kind of awkward. But he was like, oh, like, here's a chair for you. I was like, thank you, like, whatever. But then as he was talking, like, within the first couple minutes, I was like, are we going to get approved? Like, I was scared. And then it was just like, no,
nervous.
Like, God told us, no, like,
Right.
Stop
like,
it. Not in this.
The plan.
Yeah, it's like, I remember specifically thinking, like, don't falter in the final hour. Like, why would you? Why?
Yeah.
So that made me feel better. And, like, I thought that, and then I was kind of looking around, and I was like, there's a picture of him and his family at church. And I looked, because we were sitting across from each other, and I was trying to get Joe's eye to, like, go. I was like...
Yeah, I saw the picture. But not because you prompted me to, because I
he didn't notice it.
I didn't see the picture, though.
Yeah, and I just, like, I saw that, and I felt a lot better, but I was like, that doesn't mean anything. I guess I could have been visiting for some sort of I don't
Could,
know.
they
Thing,
could just
you know.
be a family that only goes to church on Easter and Christmas.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So I had no clue, but yeah, his demeanor entirely changed. Like he softened. It was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like we can do
Right.
that.
Yeah, like when we first came in, it was like, okay, what's your thing? What? Okay, like, are you sure? And then, you know, as it kind of went along, he softened up, and then when I told that story, just complete change in demeanor.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're not going to Japan.
We're not going to Japan. Yokosuka still has to deny us, but
They're going
they
to.
will.
We know the final outcome.
We know the outcome.
Yep.
We might be in Rhode Island for 2 more weeks or longer. It'll be fine, but
Well, we discovered a really awesome donut place across the street, basically, from our apartment.
yeah.
So we get to enjoy 2 more weeks of that.
Yeah, but like I ate a whole because they're huge. So how big they are? Because I'm holding. I mean,
Yay.
they're huge.
Like face-sized donuts.
Yeah, and I had an entire one last night and then felt awful.
We got
I
a
still
dozen
feel
of them,
gross.
like fools.
What's
But
a dozen for like $11.99? Like the
Yeah.
they're cheap.
Mhm. But
So, no Japan.
no Japan. Praise be to God.
Yes. Okay, and as in the first video, this is editing Jess. So again, we didn't realize how long these videos were going to be, so this is part 2 of a 3-part series. I will have an album on my YouTube channel that you can go and check out all 3 parts. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I guess this is my outro since I didn't do one because I thought all 3 videos were going to be together. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and leave me any comments down below if you guys have any questions. We're more than happy to answer any of them. Anyway, thank you again for watching and stay cozy my cuties. Bye guys.